their stuff was. And people said, wow, that was a really good video. I'd love to watch a longer one of that. And they made a slightly longer video. They did the short, I think before Beauty and the Beast was the first movie. They did the lamp with the ball kind of jumping. That was their first short that was for theatrical release. And they ended up becoming this widely successful movie company. And even Steve Jobs would really admit, if they'd asked him to invest in this as a movie company, he would have said, no way, that's crazy. You're a hardware company. You're going to make movies. Doesn't make any sense. But they ended up going through a couple pivots and being wildly successful and they just listened to what the customers said you're really good at and what they were going to produce it. So Pixar probably the most famous one. In PayPal, originally when PayPal came out, this was back in the era of the home PDA, so it predates the smartphones. And this was the product that would allow you to transfer funds between PDAs. What's that? What do you guys use now? The Venmo? No, Venmo. It was basically a precursor to that by probably 15, 20 years. It was for your PDA and get paid. It was this ability to transfer money. People didn't really have a need for that. What they did have a need for, though, was security on eBay. And on eBay, in fact, people started to use it on eBay. PayPal put out a demo online to show how it worked. But it was really just meant to be a demo because they wanted people to buy their product for their PDA. People weren't buying it for the PDA, but they were using it online. And they were, in fact, at one point, eBay called PayPal and said, a lot of our people are using your product. We get like a good logo. We get some partnership because it's a comment. And originally, PayPal said no because this, we're a PDA product. We're not an online product. It didn't take long. They changed their answer, and they're being acquired by eBay 2 years later. Very, very successful. eBay even has a story like that where, for a long time, people, the idea of buying a used car on eBay was considered crazy. Kind of like the shoes, where no one would buy a multi-$1,000 purchase on the same site if you're buying maybe use it in other things like that. What they found was people were actually breaking the rules and putting up used cars under the toy car category in eBay. And actually, a lot of people were doing this. And what does eBay do? And originally, they say, hey, I'm taking technology, but you shouldn't be putting this on eBay. You shouldn't be putting this on other toys. And then they realized, well, wait, if people are this is what the market wants. There's demand for it. We're going to create some new way. We're going to create a division, a site for used cars, and that's become a multi-billion-dollar business. So very, very successful area there. And my all-time personal favorite is actually Waterloo Tools, which goes back over 100 years. These guys make the toolboxes. It's actually the largest toolbox manufacturer in the world. You may not have heard of them because they sell their Craftsman and other brands, but they actually make the toolbox. And in the early days, they got the products where they would, their original business was actually drill bits. And drill bits were a product they were selling to Sears. And when they were selling to Sears, they would get the buyer at Sears, 400 years ago, came back and said, with your drill bits, it's not that good. But the box you send them in, really like that. And they listened to the customer and became the toolbox company for all of Craftsman. So that sort of thing where the first idea didn't really work, they pivoted, found something else that was quite good for that. Now the process, this is the map that you'll be seeing a lot through the semester. It's the discipline entrepreneurship process. And if you look at the different steps, you also see a lot of these little arrows, dash lines going backwards. It has this almost Candyland board game look to it, where there are shoots ladders, you kind of where you're going back every once in a while. These are also what are some of the key pivot points as you go through the process. That as you try something, you push it forward, and you find, it doesn't quite work. So you go back, try something again. So it's built into that process here, these sorts of pivots that you'll be going through when you start a business. Now, the key point on what does the customer want in answering that question is the good idea means it's been validated by the market. So no matter how much you're thinking about it, and you think it's a good idea, a bad idea, in theory, at the end of the day, if you can get customers to commit, to buy, it's a good idea. There's demand for it. And the more you can do of that, the better your idea is. So if people tell you this is a crazy idea, no one wants to buy shoes online, no one wants to buy cars online, those are good theories. I could easily see a very good argument for both of those. But then if you come in with evidence that people are actually buying this stuff online, that they're actually buying your product, they're searching for the product, they're posting your product, then all of a sudden it's like, that theory is not such a good theory. I've got evidence. I have market-based evidence that supports this other idea. So that's where the real power is. Doing what you can to gather this market-based evidence to push your idea forward. So let's say you're successful and you've proven that customer demand does exist, and it's out there. The second question is, can I make some money with the long term on this thing? Is this going to be a good idea, and will I make profits? Will this be a profitable business as we go forward? And this is an area where in strategy, there's a fair amount of work that's been done on some frameworks and ways to think about this that I think is actually fairly helpful. It's not as helpful in figuring out your demand. But if you're thinking, is this going to be profitable? Yeah, it helps give you at least a predictive measure of that. And we're going to talk about a couple key ones today. First off, quarters by courses, and then Solomon's is a framework as well, and a couple other tools you can use to think about this. Because some of these are different if you are in an online business versus a physical business, in a physical product, if you're making something, and how you think about this. So most of these, though, are, especially the 5 courses, are what we call industry analysis. So we're not so much looking at a specific company, we're looking at the industry, saying it's going to be profitable. So we're not looking at, well, is Ford going to be profitable? It's more, is the auto sector likely to be a good industry to be in? And this is, you're improving a lot of companies altogether in this industry. Certain industries are just more attractive than others. And it's not so, it means that you can be an outlier, that even in good industries, there are people who lose money, in bad industries, there are people who make a lot of money, but it's just easier if you're in an industry that lends itself to a high profitability. Because then if you're just the average player, you can make pretty good money in your profitability. And the profitability suffers for that whole industry because there's just a lot more competition. Yeah. The other thing, substitute products. You like to have the higher profitability comes when there aren't any substitute products. So even if it's not a direct competitor, if there's something else that will kind of work and get the job done that the customer can use, it hurts the profitability in that business. For many, many years, the rail industry viewed themselves as, well, there actually are very few rail competitors. So you think it would be super profitable. But if you think about trucking and semis as a substitute, they kind of can move the produce and product the same way. They ended up being, that was their very easy substitute for companies to make. And people did for many years. Rail's made a bit of a comeback here, but go back a few years, there's a lot of bankruptcies, and that whole industry is really, really short. So if you want to think about the fewer substitutes there are, the higher the profitability. And then in the center is just the rival. This is, if you have a lot of different forces, how bad is the competition? Usually if you have maybe 2 competitors, or a limited number of competitors, the rivalry is not that fierce. When you have a lot of them, it becomes even fiercer because only one is going to get the sale, one is going to get the deal, so they're going to lower price more and more. You think about it this way: if you were selling, you want to sell one of your tickets to the football game, would you rather be down on the corner where with another 20 people all trying to sell a ticket, or maybe one other person trying to sell a ticket? Where are you going to get a better price for your ticket? Probably the one where there's just one other person that's trying to sell it. Because if there's 20, there's always going to be someone selling the ticket for less than yours. So you're going to lower your price, and it becomes a very competitive race, not the race to the bottom, but race to a low price, and that's going to ruin the profitability for your sale. So the less rivalry, the better it is for your business. So these 5, thinking about these 5, with the exception of the barriers to entry, the lower those are, the higher the profit is in your industry. So just keep that in mind. You want a high barrier to entry, but everything else that's low gives you the highest likely profitability in that industry. Now, this is not a pure mathematical equation. So don't do it as, I'm going to go through plus, plus, minus, minus, and then net it all out, and I know exactly what profitability is going to be. This is just meant to be a guide to that. If all of them are bad, it's really hard to have a good industry. If all of them are good, it's usually a pretty good industry. And if more, the more that are good than bad, the better it is for that industry. So you want to think about it that way. If you are looking at industries that are really bad, historically, would be something like the restaurant industry. Restaurants are one of the hardest ways to make a startup work. Very high fatality. Very few live. It's going to be around a couple years later. If they're non-chain restaurants, have a 9% failure rate. Very high failure rate. When you think about that, what's the barrier to entry? Not much at all. You can start a restaurant. You can usually find some abandoned restaurant somewhere, get a really good deal on it, and buy, get a lease. So you don't need that much money. You just have to put in some equity to pay to get going. Very easy to do that. The buyer power. If you're a buyer, you're walking somewhere, there are lots of choices. Lots of choices. In almost any cuisine, there are lots of choices. So you have a lot of selection. Supplier power, you're buying from Cisco or where you're buying from, probably not a real, you're not a big customer for any of them. So you don't have a lot of negotiated leverage. And substitute products, you may be, let's say you are a ramen noodle restaurant from our earlier example. Even if there are no other ramen noodle restaurants in town, you could still have to worry that, well, someone's going to substitute them out for pizza, them out for burgers, whatever else it is. Lots and lots of substitutes. And then the rivalry is there are lots of restaurants. So they're going to have a lot of specials, they're all advertising, stuff's going to break through the noise. So in that situation, restaurants, you'd say, from an industry standpoint, not going to be very profitable. You can still run a great restaurant and be successful, but just from an industry overall, really tough to do. Not a great place to be. contrast that with pharmaceuticals. If you're a Merck pharmaceutical and you come up with a new treatment for a specific type of cancer that works really well, the entry barrier there is, first off, it costs, typically it's going to cost you almost $1 billion to get a new drug past the FDA, in probably 7 to 10 years. So most people don't have $1 billion. Most companies don't have $1 billion to spend on research. Very high barriers to entry there. So there's a limited number of players that can play in trying to do this pharmaceutical research. From a supplier, what are they buying? The chemicals are actually pretty low cost of that. Getting, I guess, smart people to work there would be, labor would be a big thing, but there are lots of individuals that are making their own decision. So, from Merck's standpoint, they have the upper hand and they're negotiating with some chemical company just buying the ingredients for that. The buyer power, that gets a little, that's a little more complex, because if it's you or I as individuals, we're very fragmented and they're, one company, but also there's a lot of things like you're going through your insurance company, maybe you as an individual aren't paying for all of the costs, which means you don't care as much, you just want something that's going to work, and you pay whatever because the insurance company is actually paying for that. So pretty good buyer power. And then the substitute products, there are probably, if it's a specific treatment, there may not be a substitute there. You can't say, well, I've got this specific type of illness, and that drug solves that. I can't substitute a lot of other things to have the same impact. So historically, the pharmaceutical industry has been one that has, as an industry, been a fairly profitable industry to be in, and for all of these reasons. So it's a good contrast. I put this image on here to help a little bit with that barriers to entry, because this is the concept that people have the most trouble with. So you as an entrepreneur, you actually want to get into an industry that has a high barrier to entry. Because investors will ask you, like, what's your barrier to entry here? Because if you are successful, you want to be able to defend it against your competition. Warren Buffett, big investor, often says he likes to invest in companies that have moats around their business. It's a term you often hear, it's a moat of defensible business that you can't get, that once you're in there, the competition can't get through. So would you rather be in the castle on the left with the moat, or a similar castle without the moat? I think we'd all say I'm safer in the one with the moat, because they at least have to get through that before they get to the castle, versus the other one. It may be tougher at the start to get inside there, but once you're there, it's a better place to be. It's a safer place to be. It's a more profitable place to be from the business standpoint. So you're always looking for these good barriers to entry in your business whenever you start. And what is a barrier to entry? There are a bunch of different ones. One that is actually very big and often takes years to create is just a brand name. We all have a certain understanding of when you buy Coca-Cola, or you go to a specific restaurant, what does that mean? What am I getting for that? That's often years and millions and millions of dollars of advertising that has gone into creating that brand. It has some meaning. And that's a challenge for a competitor to match that. It can take a lot of money, it can take a lot of time, and it's a big challenge. So if you do have that brand, that can be a really good barrier to entry for a business. One that actually is very applicable in the pharmaceutical business is the patent area, where if you do come up with this cure and you get it patented, no one can create the same mixture. They come up with other solutions, but they can't take your idea and just make it in their factory until your patent runs out. So that can be a great barrier to entry, that I'm going to have a patent on my idea. One that's also, you see a lot in the digital space, is this network effect. And what we mean there is that there's more benefit to having lots of people using the same thing, than having a lot of different solutions out there. So the fact that social media is a great example. If you're on Facebook, you're on Twitter, any of those, the more other people and other friends and people you want to communicate with that are on there, the more value it is for you. When if you were the very first user of Facebook, there was no value in that, because you had the only person who could see what posted was yourself, and so it's literally zero value. Once they moved beyond that and got a few other people, the value started to expand, and once it becomes kind of the standard where everybody's on it, if you decide I want to be on social media, that's where you're going to go, where that's where most people are going to go. So they created a huge amount of value with that network effect. And the same with eBay. If you're looking to sell your Pez dispenser or whatever your babies, why don't you're going to go to the marketplace where there are the most buyers. So you're going to find the most people there. And in turn, if you're actually looking to buy something, you're going to go there because that's where all the sellers are. So you're going to find things you wouldn't find elsewhere. And it creates value for those in those industries, because then people are going there. And it's going to be they're very difficult to get started, but once you do, this can be a very, very profitable if you have this network effect. And in software, this is what really people are all aspiring to, especially consumers. Something that you're going to have a lot of other people using it, and that's a huge barrier to entry. If we were, if someone were to come in and say, I'm going to pitch you on a new social network that's going to replace Facebook, and he even if you like, wow, I really like all these new features, whatever they come up with, whatever their idea is, if you really like that, you'd still say, boy, all my friends are already on Facebook, they're going to need to switch as well. And if they're not willing to, there's not going to be, I'm going to waste my time being on this. What happened with Google when they came up with their Google Plus, or it failed, so Google Plus, which is a Google Plus, very, very successful business. I mean, more resources than probably almost any other company on the planet failed when they rolled out Google Plus, because not that the product was bad as much as you already had everyone with the network. They already had a different network. Why would they want to switch? So big, very important concept there. You also want something that has high switching costs. If someone has either spent a lot of time learning how to use the software, or it's an industry standard that won't work with a different product, and then you can come up with something that's really, it could be a better product, but if it causes, if it's very expensive for someone to switch, they're not likely to do. Customers are not as willing to do that. So if this is one of the areas where you've seen, like, the electric car has been very slow to take off, because I've got one of the issues you have is we built an entire network up around gasoline, gas stations everywhere. If I come in with some different type of fuel, boy, I'm not even sure where I get that filled up. There's, I figured out where I can get gasoline in lots of places, but it's tough for me to do that with a new product, a different product. So these are some high switching costs that help create a big barriers to entry for businesses. And last is scale, but not least, is scale economies. Is it just really expensive to be in this industry? I mentioned how easy it is to start a restaurant. If I wanted to start a new steel company or a new auto company, these are hundreds of millions of dollars worth of investment. That's one of the reasons that Elon Musk with the Tesla is really a fascinating story, because I believe there had not been a new car company, new even division with an existing car company. Hadn't been started. Saturn was probably the last division that got started in GM, and a new car company. I think we have to go back to the 30s to find someone who can bother to start a new car company. It was so hard to do, it cost so much, and the economies of scale are just so good to do that. So that's a big barrier to entry that people it's tough to replicate. You just need a lot of money to get something built in the industry. So those are a good list of barriers to entry that are bad if you're on the outside looking in as an entrepreneur, but once you create your business and successful, the more of those that are there, the better for you. Any questions on the 5 forces or barriers to entry? Okay. So that's a very well-known and famous the 5 forces for industry analysis. Solomon's actually an entrepreneurship professor at Harvard, and he came up with this framework of, okay, how do what's going to